Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a easy and cool graffiti design with foils on full cover tips. First of all, we're going to start by pushing the cuticles back gently. We want to expose as much as the nail plate as possible so that we can get some really good adhesion and get rid of all that dead skin. I'm going to use a medium sanding band on a really low speed, starting by coming around the cuticles first. Then I am just going to start to feather down on the surface just to mat the nail. This is a practice hand, but you would do the same with a natural nail. Only working in one direction to make sure that it doesn't skip and jump everywhere, and not applying any pressure. Before we go in with any products, I am going to use some alcohol on a brush and really get rid of that dust. Now we're using the Beetles full cover tips today. I will be linking everything down below. But in order for it to adhere properly, I always use a thin coat of acid-free primer that I'm going to let dry. This is called nail glue. It's not. It is an UV LED cured gel that adheres, and you can also use it as a base coat. I could have put it in directly into the full cover tips and then onto the nail, but I do want a thin layer as a base. That just makes sure that I've covered the entire nail. I'm going to apply this like I would any other foundation. I'm just going to apply a small amount on one side of the brush, lay it down and kind of splay it out to each side. You don't need to use a massive amount, but you do need to have enough on the nail. Now by working this out to each side so that we get that covered, and we're also just going to come around the cuticle gently, but we do not want this on the skin. When I come down the side walls, I will angle my brush slightly because that ensures that I can actually get down those little cracks but not get it all over the place. When I've done all of them, I'm going to give them a full cure, and I am not going to remove the tacky layer. I have been a little bit sneaky here because I pre-sized the tips before I started the video. I'm going to be using the nail glue. Now I bought this one separately because it's a bigger bottle. The kit does include a small bottle. Small amounts in the tip to fill the apex, which is like the dip in the nail out, but you don't want it thick by the cuticle. Just give that gel a few seconds to self-level so it kind of fills the tip in. These can stay on for weeks if you apply them correctly. What I like to do is I like to tip them down just a little tiny bit. When I apply them onto the nail, you've got to have fairly firm grip. Push them down and make sure that you don't get any air bubbles, and just kind of gently work them back towards the cuticle. I am using my left hand to actually support this and hold it down when I put them in the little lamp that also came in the kit. And these are super handy to have for other things as well. Flash cure them real quick in the lamp, only a few seconds. When I've done all of them, I will give them a full cure. There is a small amount of product that has seeped out underneath. This I'm going to remove with an e-file afterwards. I find these full cover tips to be absolutely genius because they are such a quick and easy way of doing nails. If you want these to look flawless, you do have to blend the tip in a little bit. Because we're going to be applying something on top, I'm also going to mat the surface. Just already with the sanding band, I am trying to remove any sort of residue that has seeped out around the cuticle, but that isn't my main focus right now. This is a needle bit, and I always use this when I'm doing full cover tips. It cleans up nicely, and I will just gently go around the cuticles with it and release any product that has kind of made a little lip at a low speed. And I am not digging, I'm just letting the file work for me. I also use a hand file, but it is easier with an e-file because you can reach a bit better. Normally any product underneath I would have removed with a blue needle, which is a medium. Unfortunately I haven't got that, so I've just got to use a cone. If you don't remove it, sometimes this can annoy people and they will sit and pick, and you can get some lifting, and it looks unattractive as well. I've got rid of all the dust, and just as a precaution, because we don't want any chipping or peeling or anything, I'm just going to put down a really thin coat of base coat and full cure them all. That should help avoid any problems. Now, I'm not sure really why I ended up doing a white background. I should have probably done a dark one, but I changed my mind last minute about which foil I was going to use. So I'm just going to work with what I've got. You don't need any more than one coat though. You're doing a graffiti design today, and if push comes to shove, I don't really think it matters what colour it is underneath. Thin coat on all the nails. If you get a fluff, take your nippers and just kind of nip it out. You don't want any little dents underneath. You always want the surface smooth. That'll give the best result. These foils I found on AliExpress, and they were literally just silly money, and I do think they're kind of cool. We got some different patterns and whatnot, but I did choose these because of the graffiti pattern. This is the one we're going to be using today. I'm going to be using Modelones foil glue to attach the foil. I've done a review on this and how to use it. I will link that video below. Now the thing with foil is that it will only go where you put the foil gel. And this particular one will build a little bit, so I try to apply it thinly, making sure that I'm covering the entire nail. The way I apply it is the same as I would apply a gel polish, and I just kind of pull it down. All you're really doing is just applying a thin, nice, even layer. No need to have it thick. So I've given that a cure, and I am going to lay the foil down, and I will be using a silicone hoof stick to really rub it off. Now this does take a while, by the way. I'm going to be honest, Modelones foil gel is not my favourite, and as you can see, when I've pulled the foil up and I have really rubbed it, there are pieces missing. Not too fussed because I'll be using a liner afterwards, but as you can see the result is not perfect, and all I'm going to try and do is just kind of dab it down and get the little pieces on where I'm missing something. Now on this nail I've actually cut out a little piece of the foil. I've done it the exact same way. I've applied a thin coat where I want it, and I have just cured that quickly. And all I've done is place this down on top of the foil gel, and again I'm going to have to rub it off. Kind of check in between if it's releasing. And this one didn't release perfectly either. As I said, I have had much better foil gels than the Modelones one, but it will just have to do. So again, just going to try and kind of stick down the edges and see if I can get a bit more off. But like I said, far from perfect. I'm only going to partially foil the ring finger as well. What I'm going to do here is I am just going to apply the foil gel where I want it. I'm kind of just slanting it down because I want to put some colour in between. Again, just make sure that you get it close to the cuticles and you get it around the tip. Just as a reminder, I do cure this in between before I start sticking the foil down. I mean, quality wise, the foil is alright to work with. It is a bit thick though. It's not a professional foil, you can actually tell the difference. A little tip, foil does not like grease. If you go and get grease either from your fingers or whatnot on it, it won't stick down as well. So in this video I've actually been using gloves, and the foil was unhandled. It came straight out of the packet, so I haven't been touching it. Before I went in and put the foil down, I actually cleaned this with some alcohol just to be sure that we've got all the grease off it, and just to see if that would help it adhere any better. If I was going for a very sort of detailed look and a detailed foil, I think I'd be rather upset right now. Now to me, graffiti is a messy design, and that is why I have taken out some liners. These are Saviland's gel painted liners something. I will link them below. I absolutely love these because they make everything so much easier. So I'm going to do each nail a little bit differently. I'm not looking for perfect though. Now because these have got a lot of pigment, make sure that you cure them thoroughly through. Do several thin layers instead of one thick one, especially with black and whites. I'll throw a link to a video in the description box also where I've reviewed them. And I do cure them in between. You can see I'm kind of just doing some random outlines. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. So I put some colour on a palette, and I'm just going to dab this with an old ombre brush. I just want to kind of random that up a little bit, and also curing in between. So I put some pink in, then I want to go in with some white. When I go in with black, I'm a little bit more careful, and I kind of try and pull it out to make it look a bit scratched. You need to go in with a little bit of a time because it is hard to correct the black. If somebody came to me and asked me for this as a specific look with a picture, I would say yes, I can do it, but I will use your picture as inspo, because when you're doing random stuff like this, it is really hard to copy. I did have an idea of what I wanted, So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to draw a few more doodles and make them a little tiny bit messier. When everything is fully cured, I am going to put on a thin coat of top coat, as you can see, just to seal everything in. Now make sure you cap the edges, especially since this is a foil. Do that on all the nails and give them a full cure. And this is the final result. And they turned out a lot better than they looked like they were going to. So I am super happy with these. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. So please hit like, subscribe and that notification bell so you don't miss any nail crazy. And until next time, bye.